On this trip around the county, we take a look behind the curtain into NHS's production of Godspell. We cut out shaving for a cause, we fly halfway around the world with a student looking to make a difference, and we stop by a vintage guitar shop for a tune-up. All this and more on this trip around the county.
And I'm Connor Gunter, and this is Around the County.
At Around the County, we'll take you to places you may have never been and introduce you to people you may have not known.
Every fall, the NHS Drama Department puts on a production. This year's was like none other. They put on the musical production of the 1970s classic Godspell.
Producers Dan Isaacs and Anna Harp take you behind the curtain.
In 1977, the year Noblesville High School is first introduced to a performance like no other. A show so fantastically performed, one could assume such greatness could not be matched. Or could it? Tuesday, 2 days before the show goes on. As the actors prepare their costumes, the band practices behind the empty stage. Once ready, the cast fills the stage to prep their voices. After, the directors go over how the show will play out, thus leading to the hours upon hours of rehearsing ahead of them.
I am so tired. I mean, we're here till 9 pretty much every night. We have a dinner break about an hour long, but you know, it's so hard trying to balance the show and sleep and homework, and somehow it's getting done.
They were here as much as I was here. In the beginning, I would work with one group, maybe the guys, and then I'd work with the girls. They spent a lot of hours, probably more so than any other musical that I've done, that the entire cast, the kids, the 11 principals, 10 principals were here all the time.
It's a whole lot of fun. It's really been worth it. There are times where I've really not had fun with it, but it's all worth it.
You know, it's all for the best of the show, so we gotta be here, but it is exhausting.
With 1 day left to prepare, the cast and crew work vigorously to produce their best work.
Alright, so it's opening night, and I'm just sitting here, having tea. This is how I prepare. I'm gonna leave very soon, and it's gonna be a rockin' night.
Thursday night, the show soon to begin. Beyond the stage, the cast touches up their makeup and exercise their voices.
Man, I'm hyped. I'm so excited to present this to people after working so hard on it, and I mean, I'm just really calm at the moment. I get very calm before shows, so.
I'm feeling really good right now. I mean, there's nervous energy in the air, but we help each other and make each other feel good.
I feel pretty hyped, actually. I'm not stressed at all. I'm just really excited for the show because I think it'll be pretty great.
And so the show begins, giving the crowd a show of amazing songs and comic relief.
Then you kill the fatted calf.
Once the first act ends, intermission begins, leaving the cast with a swarm of emotions.
I'm excited. My heart's racing. I'm having a lot of fun. I love doing this, so it's what keeps me alive. I'm feeling pretty great, actually. I only messed up once. I'm not gonna tell you where. The rest of it actually went pretty smoothly. I feel like we pulled that off pretty well. There were a couple moments where people had to cover up forgetting lines, and that was a trip. That was probably really fun. I couldn't keep a straight face the whole thing. I hope I did it well. But overall, I feel amazing right now. I'm so pumped to do Act 2.
Act 2 is always my favorite. It's so emotional, and it's the peak of the show. It's the best part. And I just love performing it, and I'm sure the audience will.
As the intermission comes to an end, Act 2 begins, taking a darker turn than expected, especially for the character of Judas.
There's the guilt, and there's the anger, and there's the sadism. It's very fun to portray, but it's also very hard. So I actually, before I come on stage, I start just getting into this very creepy, dark place.
Finally, with a heartwarming ending, the show comes to a close. The director's proud of their work.
I sat back, enjoyed every minute of the show. It was very emotional. I hated for it to be over. It's a show that I could have done again another weekend. But all good things must come to an end, so.
After the show, the cast and crew reunite with friends and family, and shall eventually begin preparations for their next outstanding performance.
Welcome back. We're joined today by Ben Elliott, one of the stars of Godspell. Ben, thank you for joining us.
Of course.
All right, so would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself? Like, what are your hobbies or your interests?
Sure. Well, I love music, first off. I love to play piano and saxophone. I love writing my own stuff, and I just love listening to music in general. And I also love acting. I was in Godspell and The Foreigner last year, and that was really fun.
So as you said that you were in Godspell, what was that about? Can you tell us what it's about for the people who didn't really watch it or didn't get a chance to?
It's an interesting show. It's the book of Luke, I believe, from the Bible, and it's told in a very modern sense. It's told with a lot of rock and pop style music, and it's told all on a rooftop.
All right, and what was your character in that play? Because I know that you were a lead.
Yeah. Well, I started out the show as John the Baptist, and then by the end, I was Judas.
And who is, like, for people who don't really follow?
Judas is the betrayer. Judas betrayed Jesus, and in this show, he actually physically crucified Jesus.
All right, and so what were the auditions like for this play? Were they different from anything else, or what was it like?
They were very good auditions. Everyone had amazing auditions. Everyone had a very fair chance, and I felt pretty confident going in that it was going to go pretty well. And I just had to keep my head up, keep smiling, keep singing, and I had to see what happened.
And obviously it did go really well.
Yeah,
since you did get a lead. What were the practices like that were leading up from the beginning to the end?
Oh my. Many long hours spent at the high school. We were here till 9 a lot of days, just constantly working on making this show better. And of course there were some hard parts and there were some great parts, but overall, I loved the experience, and that's half the fun. Getting there is half the fun.
Yeah.
So.
And how did the cast prepare for opening night?
Well,
The whole cast was really calm before opening night, I think. Of course, there was some stress from everyone, but overall, when it got to opening night before the show, everyone just got pretty calm and pretty, okay, this is our time. We're going to go out there, we're going to give it our best, and we're going to give everyone a great show.
So as I know, you've been a really big part of like acting and drama. What really did make you want to just start acting?
I love being another person for a while. I don't know why. There's something about just stepping out of life for a while and literally just portraying some other character in some other realm. And there's something just so magical about that, I guess you could say.
And so what was the most, like your most magical first moment that you remember from acting?
Oh my, that's a tough one. Well, I guess that I'd have to say Foreigner, which was the spring play in 2015, was my favorite show I've ever done. And I just felt so in character, and I felt so a part of the scene. And that was really a time where I figured, you know, I really like doing this, and I really like portraying people.
Yeah, and so is this something that you want to like do with your career in later future, or are you thinking about going a different route?
Actually, I want to go into film music. So I really don't want to take acting professionally.
All right, so Ben, thanks for being here with us. We really do appreciate your time.
Of course.
There's a new trend sweeping across the nation. It is called No Shave November or Movember. The whole point of this is for grown men to grow out their facial hair and then donate the money that they usually would spend on grooming utensils to cancer research. Producers Jordan Yaney and Julian Saul give us a close shave inside of Noblesville schools with an interviewing of such staff.
November 1st marks the beginning of beard season at NHS, and if you're walking around the hallways, you're bound to see some changes.
It's called No Shave November. It's actually a fundraiser through the American Cancer Society, and I did it last year by myself, and it seemed like last year other people were doing it, so I just sent an email out to all the faculty and staff and asked who would want to be involved.
Well, personal connection. I have a father and an uncle who have both suffered from prostate cancer. And so I thought this was a way for me to get involved and give back a little bit.
And I think we're almost up to $200 already, so it's something that's been pretty cool, and we're just getting started.
I think more importantly, it's just again raising awareness of just cancer issues in general. And October's great with the Susan G. Komen things, but then this continues that into November.
It's true that No Shave November is typically for guys, but at NHS, we're breaking that stereotype as girls are also participating in the event.
When I read Dr. McCaffrey's little invitation, I thought, you know, there's no reason I can't do this. So it's a cause. Anything that's cancer prevention, research, education, I think is really important. So it was one way to get involved.
Some students are participating in No Shave November, but not as a fundraiser, just for the fun of it.
It's just a very popular thing around this time of the season, so I was just like, why not? I guess I'll participate in this event.
I think I heard about it through some social media sites, mostly Twitter and Instagram, probably. Before I had to get a head start, you know, I can't grow facial hair as well as some people can, but I'm building some scruff up, so you know.
While some people can manage the beard, others have problems dealing with it. Mr. Gunnarsson says his is more bothering than rewarding.
Different at times. There have been times where it's been really itchy. There are times when I don't notice it, but then there are times when every time like I move my face, I can feel the beard move.
I don't like it, so but it's going. Obviously, it's growing in just fine, other than the gray hair.
McCaffrey has been donating along with his team, but a month-long campaign like this will follow you everywhere, even home.
My daughters are pretty whatever about it. They're fine. My wife is not a big fan of it at all. November's not one of her favorite months. The overall things are going great. Our team has raised $400 this month for cancer research and support, so we're excited about that, but we've been ready to shave, so I cannot wait to end No Shave November.
Although they've all been ready to shave their faces for weeks, they're willing to hang in there for a good cause.
I'm in it till the end, but if today was November 30th, I wouldn't be complaining.
For any guitar enthusiast in Noblesville, Indiana, they know to stop by Center Stage Vintage Guitars, owned and operated by Kevin Hefferman. Producers Stockton Repeshiak and Connor Gunter kick out the jams and take you through the story.
Noblesville, Indiana, home of Hamilton Town Center, Forest Park, and the jail where a young Charles Manson had a brief stay. One place that might have not crossed your mind is Center Stage Vintage Guitars. Caleb Mitchell, a senior at Noblesville High School, works at the guitar shop as an intern.
I wanted to do an internship for my senior year, and all the ones that I was offered was like really basic, like either working in like a hospital or like a factory, something like that. And so I sought out to Kevin and asked him if he was willing to do one this year. And he said he'd be interested as long as I was like worked hard and, you know, like came through and said what I did what I was gonna say, you know.
Was it hard for you to prove yourself to him?
I don't know if I had to prove myself to him. He just in the beginning stages he kind of just made sure that I knew what I was doing and that like I had the skills available. I have my own guitars, so I've like kind of messed around, like obviously just like setting up or doing strings and stuff like that, and just like cleaning them, but I do a lot of like woodworking and like carpentry and like automotive mechanic stuff outside of school at my house and with my dad. So I had that kind of experience, I guess, beforehand.
So what kind of stuff do you do around the shop?
I do a lot of like setup work, like prep work, getting guitars and other instruments ready to be worked on. I do a lot of like final work, like the polishing and the cleaning once they're already done, and I do like a lot of the shop maintenance and cleaning and just keeping it in order. It's like some business as well.
When Caleb is working with pieces of history, there's no room for mistakes.
When it comes to guitars, people have like really high standards, and like Kevin's a real perfectionist, so you have to be super like meticulous with your work, and it's just difficult sometimes trying to get it like as perfect as he wants it, or just making sure that you're making a good product. But like when you're done making it, it's like for somebody who's trying to sell it, so it has to be like top-notch quality. So that's really the only hard thing, is getting it to be perfect. Because like, I mean, no one's perfect.
Do you feel like you have a lot of pressure while doing it?
I mean, it depends on the piece, but like if I'm just working on like something that I've bought off him, or it's just like a personal piece, like something just to like advance my skills on, not really, but like if it's something for a customer or something he's trying to sell, or like a really like high-priced piece, then yeah, because like I don't want to mess it up or like make him lose money on it, stuff like that.
Kevin Heffernan has been working on guitars since the 1970s and has made guitars for stars like Johnny Cash, Zach Brown, John Mellencamp, and many more.
I started playing guitar when I was 13, and you know, I'll be 60 in a week, so long time. Been tearing stuff apart, putting them back together again, and guitars just sort of entered into that in probably 1970, late 60s. So I kind of, you know, I mean, if you came in and you can't, you know, walk and chew gum at the same time, it's not going to happen. You got to be good with your hands, you got to be smart, you got to remember things. So there's a certain DNA that fits and a certain type that doesn't fit.
Now, is there a test that you kind of do for the kids that coming in, like if you kind of see what they have done? Because we could say like, oh, I'm great with my hands, but there's kind of you have to see for yourself.
My brain performs a test on people every time I talk to somebody. You can analyze people. You know, after you've been around 60 years, you can just talk to somebody, and 20 minutes later, you know what they're, you know, what they're capable of or what they're not capable of.
I mean, after I graduate, I might work here afterwards, just and continue like my apprenticeship or internship kind of thing. But I don't know if I'll be like a professional luthier or if I'll get my actual license for it, but it's definitely something I enjoy that I have interest in, for sure.
Not many people get the chance to leave their mark on the world at such a young age, but NHS senior Hannah Bimmerly lends a helping hand in a place not so close to home. Producers Lauren Seltenwright and Katie McVoy lead you through the eyes of a missionary.
Many people live their lives and don't get to discover this big world of ours. Hannah Bimmerly is a senior at NHS, and she has taken the world into her own hands.
My name is Hannah Bimmerly. I am a senior at Noblesville, and I like global missions and traveling the world, and that's what I want to do with my life.
Hannah's dream has always been to travel and leave her mark on the world. With the help of Global Expansion, she's able to make her dream a reality. Global Expansion is an organization committed to helping people all over the world.
Basically, you go with an organization or a church in my case, and you basically serve anywhere in any way that you possibly can. In my case, it was working in schools with kids, teaching English, teaching Bible studies, playing games with them, just interacting with them in any way that you can.
One of her biggest dreams was to go to Kenya. This fall, Hannah got the opportunity of a lifetime. She traveled to Kenya to lend a helping hand.
I went to Panama. I've been to Panama twice, and I knew I wanted to go to Africa. I've always known I wanted to go to Africa. So this trip came about, and I took advantage as best as I could. We worked in a school the first day, and then the next 3 days we worked in a different school. And then we traveled basically all over the place to different villages, interacted with the kids, interacted with the people. We've done a lot of work with villages over there, and one of the villages is called a Sinan, and we actually built a well in their village. So they found them completely, they had no water. Like they had to walk 10 miles to get water. And we built a well in their village, so they're able to get running water, right?
Along this incredible journey, Hannah believed she would touch the lives of others, but they ended up touching hers forever.
Our driver, his name's Edwin, and we spent like the whole week with him, and he basically ended up being a team member of ours, but we still communicate with him like off and on. We've communicated with him like once a week since we've gotten home, and kind of like a brother to us, so it was really awesome to get to meet him.
With all these incredible adventures Hannah's embarked on throughout high school, will she continue her work while attending Ball State University or pursue something else?
Working in the schools and working with kids has really shown a light. Shone a light on the fact that I want to be a teacher and that I want to travel the world and be a teacher overseas. I'm going to Ball State University, and I'm going to major in elementary education with a concentration in teaching English as a second language. So I hope to travel the world and teach English in other countries.
Hannah is lending a helping hand all across the world and will continue to do so. Good luck, Hannah, on all your future endeavors.
Episode of Around the County.
We hope you enjoyed all the stories we had to offer.
I'm Megan Springer.
And I'm Connor Gunter.
As always, we'll see you next time on Around the County.